Chapter 1, Death of a Nameless Man, Night. A back alley. Rain pours like it's trying to wash the world clean. The city stinks of blood, oil, and broken dreams. Aaron Vale lay on the cold concrete, breath shallow, eyes wide. The crimson soaking his hoodie matched the rusted neon signs flickering above. A knife stuck out of his gut, cheap, chipped, but deep enough to silence him. You thought you could rise above your place? Trash like you should have stayed in the gutter. Their laughter echoed down the alleyway as the gang walked away, their voices fading into the sound of thunder. Aaron couldn't move. Couldn't scream. But even as his body failed him, his mind didn't break. No one would mourn him. Not the orphanage that lost him to the system. Not the fake foster homes that used him for checks. Not the streets that taught him life was a game of predators and prey. And yet, this is it, huh? No revenge. No second chance. No name, no one to even remember it. His eyes fluttered shut, rain mixing with the blood on his cheek. Darkness embraced him. Elsewhere, in a world layered in magic and secrets, a boy lies in a cage. Skin torn. Bones cracked. Eyes swollen shut. His breaths are shallow, but he is already dead. His name is Renvaros, though in this house, that name is spat like filth. Tonight, a ritual is completed. The family gathers around his corpse, cloaked in shadows. Their chants echo as symbols glow beneath the cage. Let his cursed blood guide the veil, let the offering be complete. But something stirs, a flicker in the magic. A current the spellcasters didn't expect. A rift opens. A soul falls through. Back in the cage. Ren's eyes snap open. But they're not Ren's anymore. He gasps, choking on blood and air and memory. Pain floods him. Pain from 2 lifetimes. The tortured childhood of Ren. The bitter survival of Aaron. He collapses forward, hands digging into the iron bars. His mind reels, his breath catches, and then ding! System booting, skill tree framework, root of vengeance unlocked. Fate points, 0 current tier, ashes, welcome, Aaron Run. He breathes in. Something cracks behind his eyes. A voice, cold, ancient, metallic, speaks directly to his soul. You have inherited a broken body and a dying name. Carve your legacy through blood. Every enemy slain grants fate points. Fate points unlock the lottery of destiny, skills, powers, anomalies. Mercy bears no fruit. Only carnage shall feed the tree. He smirks. Even in agony, it feels right. He's not just alive. He's reborn. And this time, I'll kill my way to the top. Chapter 2, First Kill, First Fate Point, The Cage Room, House of Varos, Midnight, metal groaned as Aaron Ren forced himself to sit upright. Pain lanced through his limbs. Every breath was a war. His left eye was completely swollen shut, but his right blazed with a strange clarity like the moment before a storm. System notification, you are in a Class D bloodline suppression chamber. Your body is sealed at 2% of its potential. Skill tree locked. No active skills. That's fine, Aaron muttered, a sick smile creeping across his bloodied lips. I don't need powers to kill insects. The cage door creaked. A servant entered, cloaked, masked, carrying a tray of spoiled bread and water. She didn't notice the change. She didn't feel the killing intent pouring from the boy. Eat, runt. Your next ritual is in 2 days. Be grateful you're still alive. She turned to leave. Too late. Aaron was already moving, instincts, rage, and street-born brutality in motion. The chain on his wrist whipped forward, catching her ankle. She screamed, falling flat. The tray clattered across the floor. Before she could rise, Aaron pounced. Crunch! His elbow came down on her throat. Once. Twice. Her gasps turned to gurgles. Her hands weakly clawed at him. He didn't stop. This isn't your pain. It's Ren's. It's mine now. Blood painted his hands. Ding. You have slain, Varos servant number 12, fate point +1, root tree branch unlocked, feral instinct, passive boost to reaction time and physical awareness when near death. He rose. Not shaking. Not scared. Alive. For the first time. Corridor outside the cage room, House of Varos, Aaron slipped into the dark hallway. The mansion was massive, its halls lit by floating candles and cursed flames. Paintings of past Varos ancestors sneered down at him from gilded frames. All this wealth. All this power. Built on sacrifice and torment. I'll burn it all. 2 Varos apprentices, patrolling nearby. You hear that? Probably just that runt gasping again. Let him rot. He's lucky the family didn't just toss him in the pit. Aaron stalked them like a wolf. They turned the corner, too slow. He slammed one against the wall, cracking bone. The other fumbled a charm. Aaron bit his wrist mid-chant, forcing him to scream and drop the sigil. Crack! The head hit the stone. Blood pooled. Silence fell. Ding! You have slain, Apprentice Varos X2, fate points +2, uncommon drop, Apprentice Sigil Ring, contains minor fire rune. Skill tree, Ember Step, locked. Requirements, 5 fate points. He stood in the candlelight. 3 corpses behind him. 3 fate points pulsing in his soul. The system whispered. Hunt. Burn. Ascend. Far above Varos Grand Hall, an old man in crimson robes jolted awake. He stared at a mirror that reflected the cursed cage. Empty. His lips curled into a snarl. The offering, escaped? That's impossible. Who are you, boy? Back in the shadows, Aaron Rin smirked, slipping the bloodstained sigil ring onto his finger. I'm your worst mistake. Chapter 3, Escape Protocol activated, Inner Halls, House of Varos, blood dried quickly on Aaron's hands. The ring pulsed faintly, its fire rune itching against his skin. Every corridor twisted like a maze carved by lunatics, gilded, cursed, alive. He crept through the silence. System notification, mini-map acquired, area scan limited to 20 meters, warning, 3 lifeforms approaching from left corridor, fate points, 3 unlocked nodes, 1 skill tree root, ashes, still not enough to unlock Ember Step, Aaron muttered. He ducked into a side hall, too late. You! A scream. A blur of crimson. A Varos guard lunged with a spear crackling with blue sigils. Aaron dove, rolling beneath the swing. He snagged a broken candelabra from the wall, jammed it under the man's chin. Sparks. Blood. The man twitched and fell. Another came. This one, smarter, a dagger specialist, tattoos glowing along her arms. Think you're the first freak to try running, rat? She threw a knife. Aaron tilted, it grazed his shoulder, searing. She lunged again. This time he didn't dodge. He stepped into the strike, took the second knife through the ribs, and smiled through the pain. Her eyes widened. He crushed her nose with his forehead, ripped the blade from his ribs, and rammed it under her jaw. Silence. Ding. You have slain, Varos Elite X2, fate points +2, total, 5, skill tree node, Ember Step unlocked, the system chimed, skill acquired, Ember Step, level 1, effect, short distance flame step. Consumes minor energy. Leaves behind a burning trace. He didn't hesitate. He stepped forward and vanished in a flash of ember and smoke. Servant's wing ground floor, the world reappeared in a rush of air and cinders. His hands were trembling. His wounds were deep. But his smile? Untouched. He felt alive. Alive with power. Alive with purpose. System update, skill branch preview unlocked, tier, ashes branches, brutality/cunning/voidcraft/flamebound current access. Brutality tier 1. The floorboards creaked. A girl. A servant. Young. Wide-eyed. She froze. He raised the stolen dagger, but stopped. Not out of mercy. Out of calculation. She's useless. No threat. He stepped past her. She crumpled to the ground, sobbing. System notice, fate point unaffected, outside. He had to get outside. Final hall exit ahead, footsteps thundered behind him. Voices raised. Alarms screamed in ancient tongue. Too many. He grit his teeth. The system pulsed. Emergency system prompt, trade 3 fate points? Draw from minor skill lottery? Do it. Drawing, skill acquired, blood echo, passive. Briefly records movement pattern of any enemy that wounds you. Perfect. Skill activated, Ember Step. In a blaze of smoke and fire, Eren vanished down the hall, dancing through memory, reaction, and pure rage. He burst into the night. The Varos estate behind him roared with alarms. But he didn't look back. He had a new name. A new system. A new path. Eren had escaped. Now, the world would bleed. Chapter 4, The Burnt City Below, Night. Old Undercroft, Lower Tenebris. The scent of oil and ash blanketed the air. Eren stood at the edge of the underway, a slum carved beneath the grand city of Tenebris. Above, spires gleamed with arcane light. Below, only rot and ruin. His clothes were torn. Blood still clung to his side. But his eyes were sharp. Alive. System notice, status, escape targeted bounty, issued by House Varos. Threat level, moderate, suggested action, relocate / power accumulation recommended. I need gear, Eren muttered. And allies. Even tools will do. He stumbled into an alley lit by a flickering rune lamp. A hunched man watched him from behind a stack of rusted gears. Mechanical limbs ticked slowly on his back. A tinkerer. You look like hell, the man rasped. But you smell like fire. That ring of yours. Where did you get it? Eren didn't answer. The man didn't expect him to. Name's Riggs. I fix broken things. You? Eren. Well, Eren. You're either a corpse or a customer. Which is it? Eren lifted a pouch he'd stolen off the second Varos elite. Gold. Enough. Customer. System prompt, minor shop accessed, Riggs the Tinkerer, available trade, reinforced cloak of smoke vials, basic focus lens fate point trade possible. I'll take the cloak. And those vials. Riggs nodded. Wise. You'll want this too. He tossed over a crystal shard. Focus lens. Stick it near your eye. Helps with aiming strange things. Eren grunted. Then froze. Footsteps. Heavy ones. A gang of 5 thugs rounded the corner. Metal jaws, glowing eyes. Not natural. Riggs hissed. Scorchers. They hunt people with bounties, like yours. Eren didn't run. System skill activated, blood echo, pattern captured, bladed jab, uppercut side lunge, system skill activated, ember step. He vanished in a flicker of smoke and appeared behind the lead scorcher and drove the stolen dagger through the machine man's neck. Sparks burst. Oil sprayed. Critical hit. Enemy downed, 1 out of 5, Riggs screamed and dove behind a cart. The rest rushed him. Eren weaved, ducked, mirrored their movements perfectly thanks to blood echo. Slash. Step. Burn. By the time the last felt smoking, twitching, his blade buried in its core, Eren was panting. But smiling. System notification, skill level up, Ember Step LV2, passive unlocked, afterimage, leaves a flame mirage behind for 2 seconds, Riggs peeked up. What are you? Eren wiped the blood from his eyes. An accident, he said. And a problem. He looked up toward the gleaming towers of Tenebris. But soon. I'll be a war. Chapter 5, The Society of Veins, Evening, Broken Bridge Tavern, Sector 9, Lower Tenebris. The tavern pulsed with whispers. Not laughter. Not song. Only secrets. Aaron entered with a hood low over his eyes, the faint scent of scorched metal still clinging to his cloak. Riggs had patched him up, barely. But he needed more than wounds to hide now. He needed answers. A woman at the bar watched him. One eye was silver. The other glowed faint violet. Not natural. Not normal. Definitely enhanced. "You're not from here," she said, not asking. "No one ever is," Aaron replied. She smirked. "Sit. Drink. Or vanish. Your choice." He sat. A mug slid toward him, untouched by her hand. Telekinesis? Tech implant? Magic? Didn't matter. He leaned in. "I'm looking for the veins." Silence. Utter silence. The sound in the tavern shrank to nothing, as if the walls themselves held their breath. "You shouldn't say that name here," she warned. "I already did." "You have a death wish, then?" "No," Aaron said, lifting the mug. "I have a system. System prompt, secret chain quest unlocked, a pulse in the veins, inquire about the hidden society, reward, class upgrade path access map fragment?" The woman leaned back. Her eyes scanned him like a machine. "You're either insane," she said, "or recruited." "Neither." She frowned. Then snapped her fingers. 3 cloaked figures appeared from nowhere. Cloaking tech? Invisibility rune? "You'll come with us." "Why?" "To meet someone who might let you live." Underground artery gate, below the lower city, the tunnels stank of rust and forgotten magic. They passed beneath flickering veins of crystal embedded in the stone, pulsing red, like blood. At the gate stood a being. Not man. Not machine. Something else. Skin made of slate. Eyes of pure gold. Runes crawled across its face like insects. "Another one," it said in a voice that echoed inside Aaron's bones. "The last was a failure. Will this one survive?" The woman spoke. "He claims the system marks him." The statue being bent low, its face inches from Aaron's. "System alert, energy signature detected, forbidden class pathway available, condition, pass the vein trial." Aaron didn't move. "Then let me prove it." "You could die," it said. "I've already done that once." The being smiled, cracked stone splitting like old bark. "Then step into the blood vein." From the floor, a ring of red light appeared. Aaron stepped in. And screamed. Trial realm, the vein, his body floated in liquid crimson. His thoughts split. His vision tore. Memories not his. Skills not learned. Blood not spilled, but known. Voices chanted. Trial initiated, the blood that binds all, who are you? 1,000 voices whispered. System interface hijacked, a new screen appeared. Choose your path, vein caster, manipulate blood into arcane spells. Bone reaper, forge weapons from marrow and pain. Hemiseer, read fate through bloodlines and sever destinies. Aaron didn't hesitate. Selected, Bone Reaper, forbidden class accepted, skill unlocked, marrow blade, summon weapon from internal bone. Painful, powerful, personal. Side effect, hallucinations/rage/enhanced reflexes. The chamber exploded in red light. He stood, weapon drawn, forged from his own rib, curved and pulsing. The statue being bowed. "You are now one of the veins." Chapter 6, Blood Price, Night, Inner Sanctum of the Veins, location unknown. Aaron's breath steamed in the crimson chamber, though the air wasn't cold. It was charged, thick with arcane tension, like standing inside a thundercloud before the strike. He clutched his marrow blade, the freshly summoned weapon still slick with his own blood. Each heartbeat pulsed through it, sinking to him like a second soul. "Does it hurt?" the silver-eyed woman asked, watching from the edge of the sanctum. "Yes," he admitted. "Good," she smiled faintly. "Means it's real." She introduced herself at last. "Vera. Hemiseer. 4th circle of the veins. Your handler, for now." Aaron eyed her. What do you want from me? Not want, she corrected. Need. The system marked you. That means you're a key. A key to what? Vera walked to a mural etched in bone along the wall, a scene of war, cities falling, skies burning. To the Ascension Protocol. The last one who tried to activate it nearly destroyed the inner city. He raised an eyebrow. You make it sound like I've got a nuke inside me. You don't, she said. You are the nuke. Elsewhere, High Council Chamber, Midnight Shade Sector, in a cathedral of shadows, the ruling council gathered. Figures cloaked in glass-like armor. Faces hidden. Their voices modulated to sound like dozens at once. Another anomaly has awakened the protocol system. Is it stable? Unknown. Send the collector. Contain or eliminate? A long silence. Then, harvest. Back training hall, Vane's base, Vera tossed Aaron a vial. Drink. What is it? Blood of a titan. Diluted. It'll help stabilize your class. Maybe. Maybe? She shrugged. Or your insides melt. 50-50. He drank. System notification, trait mutation detected, passive unlocked, Boneforge, all damage dealt with summoned bone weapons has a bleed effect. The pain hit instantly. He fell to his knees as his skeleton shifted. A second rib grew, jagged, barbed, black. His spine stiffened, then relaxed like a breathing beast. When he rose, something in his eyes had changed. Vera noticed. You're adapting faster than expected. What now? Now, she said, tossing him a sealed scroll, you go to the surface. There's someone you need to kill. Who? A collector. Aaron paused. Why? Because, she said, expression darkening, they collect people like you. Surface old metro ruins, Sector 3C, the ground cracked with every step Aaron took. His blade pulsed, sensing blood nearby. A noise. Too fast. He turned. Something slammed into him fast, precise, surgical. The collector. Draped in white. No face. Dozens of metallic syringes floated around its body like satellites. Its voice was synthetic, emotionless. Subject 0139B, Bone Reaper class. Forbidden. Termination authorized. System alert, boss encounter, collector unit number 7, HP, 9800 type, biomech weakness, unstable runes, it moved. Faster than thought. He bled. He smiled. His blade grew in his hand, another rib sacrificed. Then he vanished, reappeared behind it, rage fueling speed. Asterisk slash. Stab. Bone. Blood, asterisk it screeched. A syringe struck his shoulder, injecting something hot. His vision blurred. But his rage stayed clear. Skill activated, Bone Reaper, Frenzy Drive, he roared and ripped the collector's faceplate off only to find a mirror. It was his own face. Twisted. Cold. Modified. You were one of us, it whispered before dying. Aaron stood in the ruin, blood dripping from his chin. Alone. Changed. System alert, you have leveled up. New skill available, Spinehook, pull enemies by anchoring bone tendrils into their nervous systems. Warning, class instability level rising. Chapter 7, The Whispering Grave, location, Abyssal Fringe, Surface Sector 5A, 2:12 a.m., rain fell like needles across the hollowed ground. Aaron stood at the edge of a ruined graveyard, 1 foot already across the warded threshold. The collector's final words haunted him. Asterisk, you were one of us. Asterisk, he didn't know what that meant yet. But he intended to. Vera's voice crackled over the bone relay embedded in his ear. The Whispering Grave is the memory repository of dead protocol users. Don't touch anything that breathes. Noted. And if you hear your own voice whispering back, run. System notification, region accessed, whispering grave, warning, high instability zone. Corrupted memories detected. The tombs were wrong. They pulsed like hearts. Some of them watched him, lids open slightly, leaking fog. Aaron moved cautiously. His system map jittered, glitching. Then, new quest acquired, echoes of the first Reaper, descend into the grave center and retrieve the lost core of Subject Zero. Optional objective, survive. He smirked. Optional? Deeper catacombs, 3:09 a.m., the walls were alive. Not metaphorically. They writhed with something like flesh, twitching veins, ancient runes, and the sound of breathing. As he passed a sealed crypt, he paused. His name was etched there. Aaron Kale, status, yet to fall, his fingers brushed the stone. It cracked open. A vision flooded his mind. A child. Alone in a lab. Needles. Screams. A system forced onto a body too small. His voice. But younger. I don't want this anymore, then silence. System alert, protocol fragment acquired origin chain, unlocked passive, memory lockbreaker, you may now access sealed memories of your past selves. Aaron staggered back, panting. Vera, they've done this to me before. This world. This system. I wasn't the first. I was recycled, the calm was silent. Then, get out of there. Now. No, he growled. Not until I see the first. Central core, the grave's heart, there it was. A throne of bone. A corpse sat atop it, armor melted to its frame. Empty sockets stared down at him. System warning, entity detected, subject 0, dead? Corruption level? It moved. A whisper. Not a voice. A thought, come closer, future me, the corpse pointed at its chest. Embedded there a glowing red orb. The core. He stepped forward, and took it. The world shattered, vision realm? He saw them all. Hundreds of versions of himself. Some noble. Some broken. Some monsters. They all stared back. One stepped forward, cloaked in abyssal armor, eyes burning. You're not ready. I will be, Aaron said. The others smiled. Then darkness. Back, graveyard edge, dawn, he woke, gasping. The core was in his hand, still glowing. System alert, unique item acquired, core of subject 0, skill unlocked, gravebind, raise fallen enemies to fight for you for 60 seconds. System mutation detected. Class evolution path, Bone Reaper Abyss Reaper, locked, requires 2 more fragments. Aaron stood, bones shifting beneath his skin. The world had tried to bury him before. Now he would bury it first. Chapter 8, Shadows of the Syndicate. The sun dipped low behind the spires of New Vale, casting the city in hues of crimson and steel. The underworld began to stir. Rendraven, no longer the weak and hunted boy from before, walked confidently through the back alleys of District 9. His black cloak fluttered behind him like a shadow. But this time, he wasn't alone. You sure this guy's gonna talk? Asked Kael'vas, a sharp-eyed sniper and the first ally Ren had made since awakening in this world. A former enforcer for the guild, Kael had defected after Rin saved his sister from a forced memory wipe ritual. He'll talk, Run replied coolly, eyes scanning the derelict warehouse ahead. They always do when I loosen their tongues. Inside, Milo Trent, a low-ranking informant from the Whisper Fong Syndicate, was already tied to a chair, bloodied, trembling. Standing behind him was Seraphine Rin, Ren's most unpredictable ally. A silver-haired witch of illusion magic with a twisted sense of humor and a tragic past, she licked a blade with a grin. Don't move, Milo. I just sharpened this, and I hate wasting clean steel, she said sweetly. Milo choked. I told you everything I know. The Syndicate, they're holding a Devourer shard in the catacombs. Under the old church in Black Hollow. Ren's eyes narrowed. A shard? Quest update, artifact traces, Devourer shard located, Black Hollow catacombs, fate points, plus 100 for discovering hidden magical relic location. Kale frowned. That place is cursed. No one's made it out alive in years. Then we'll be the first, Rin said. We're not walking away from this city's rot. We're digging it out root and bone. A sudden knock echoed at the warehouse door. 3 knocks. Pause. 2 knocks. Ron and Kale exchanged glances. That's not our signal. The door exploded inward, and masked figures in bone-white armor stormed in. Agents of the Eclipse Order, a death cult that hunted magic users and hoarded forbidden relics. Targets confirmed, a robotic voice hissed. Eliminate. Seraphine smirked. Oh good, it's murder o'clock. Ren's eyes gleamed as his system pinged. Skill tree unlocked, Phantom Execution Branch, node activated, Shadow Blink, allows short-range teleport within vision, fate points, plus 30, engaged hostile elite enemy group. With a flicker of darkness, Ren vanished and reappeared behind one of the masked soldiers, driving a dagger through his neck. Kale ducked under a blade and fired 2 shots, dropping another enemy with clean precision. Seraphine laughed as she conjured a field of illusions, turning the warehouse into a mirror maze of deadly traps. Slaughter them all, Ren commanded. Make it loud. Tonight, a syndicate trembled. Tonight, the city would learn a new name for fear. Rendraven, Chapter 9, Echoes beneath the hollow. The Black Hollow catacombs weren't marked on any modern map, buried beneath centuries of dirt and denial, and whispered about only in forgotten pubs and madmen's journals. It was a place where light died, and those who entered never returned. Ron stood at the threshold of the ancient church, the stone steps yawning below into darkness. Behind him, Kale loaded his sniper rifle with rune-etched rounds. Seraphine, humming a haunting lullaby, danced her fingers through a flickering illusion flame. I can feel it, she whispered. Something ancient stirs down there. Hungry. Ren's system pulsed in his mind, location reached, Black Hollow Catacombs, hazard level, 8 out of 10, ancient curse site, quest active, Devourer shard, secure and survive, bonus objective, reveal the origin of the hollow, plus 200 fate points on completion. They descended. The air thickened with damp rot and a pressure that pressed against their very souls. Statues lined the walls, hooded, crumbling effigies with hollow eyes. Some were broken, claw marks scarring their surfaces. And one was breathing. Ron noticed too late. The statue near Seraphine shifted, its arms snapping open like a bear trap. She screamed, but Ren was faster. Skill activated, Shadow Blink, skill activated, Phantom Sever. He appeared in a blur, his blade slicing the statue's throat, which poured out black sand like blood. It collapsed in pieces. Seraphine blinked, then touched her neck. You really didn't hesitate to save me. Don't flatter yourself, Ren muttered. You're still useful. A deep voice echoed through the tunnels. Another bearer of the system descends into my grave. Kale aimed forward, eyes narrowing. We're not alone. No, Rin said, eyes glowing faintly, we're exactly where we need to be. They entered the central crypt chamber, lit by an eerie violet glow pulsing from a pedestal of bone and rust. On it sat the Devourer shard, a black crystal beating like a heart. Fate resonance detected, shard is bound to your system's evolution tree, skill tree mutation available, Devourer branch, lottery function unlocked, consume shard for random tier S kill or merge with existing skill. Ren's heart pounded. This was power. This was destiny. Before he could decide, shadows began rising from the crypt floor. Not corpses, memories. Living memories, clawing and shrieking. They were the victims of the syndicate. Of the Eclipse Order. Of those Ren had slain. A figure stepped forward from the memory storm, a young boy with cracked glasses, blood dried on his collar. Why did you let me die? Rod? Ren froze. That was Aaron Vale, the original owner of this body. System update, remnant soul conflict triggered, resolve, assimilate, reject, or converse with the soul fragment. Warning, unresolved fragments may cause instability. Kale stepped back. What's happening? Seraphine drew her dagger. Rod? But Rin was already deep inside the storm, mind linked, staring into the eyes of the boy whose tortured life had become the canvas for his vengeance. And Aaron Vale wasn't ready to fade quietly. Chapter 10, the remnants trial the chamber faded from Ren's vision. In its place, an endless void, cold and pulsing with fractured memories. Aaron Vale stood before him, not as the weak boy in the past, but formed of flickering shards of pain, trauma, and longing. His eyes glowed with blue fire, the hue of unresolved fate. "You took my body," Aaron whispered, "but what about my soul?" Ron didn't flinch. "I didn't ask for this." "You didn't refuse it either," Aaron countered, stepping closer, the void shifting with his emotions. System prompt, soul reconciliation initiated, requirement, face the memories of the body's past, failure to resolve equals system instability times 2, skill progression blocked, the void shifted again. Suddenly, Ron was standing in a dusty classroom, desks broken, chalk smeared with crude slurs. Children laughed. A younger Aaron stood at the center, blood dripping from his nose, clutching a lunchbox smashed under someone's boot. The tormentors had names: Kellen Dross, Varric Null, and Junel Varric. They were now respected nobles in the current capital. And they were monsters who had destroyed Aaron's self-worth. Ron clenched his fists. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because," Aaron whispered from beside him, "this is where I died, before they ever murdered me physically." System prompt, emotional imprint recognized, new passive skill unlocked, Soul Echo, grants immunity to mind-manipulating illusions and trauma-based curses, strengthens resistance when confronting personal memory-based foes, plus 50 fate points returned. "I will avenge you. Not because I owe you, but because what they did deserves death." Aaron's fragmented soul paused. "You really mean that?" Ron nodded. "Your pain fuels my fire now. They'll fall, one by one." The void trembled. Remnant soul assimilation successful, Aaron Vale's memories merged, hidden locations, social webs, secret ranks unlocked, unique skill tree unlocked, path of the hollow flame, an evolving branch based on vengeance, justice, and unrelenting progression, tier 1 skill unlocked. Scorchmark, each named kill leaves a soul brand, accumulate branded kills to access memory-based critical strikes, bonuses increase against targets related to past trauma back in the real world, Ren gasped and dropped to one knee, sweat rolling down his jaw. Kale rushed over. "What the hell just happened?" Seraphine crouched beside him, watching warily. Ren's eyes lifted, burning faintly with hollow blue fire. "A promise," he whispered, standing. "I made a promise to the dead." He reached forward, gripping the Devourer shard. The moment he touched it, system, skill tree evolution initiated, Devourer path synced with Hollow Flame, lottery points earned, 500, new draw option available, soul tier weapons. Behind him, Kale and Seraphine prepared their weapons. From the far end of the crypt, a new enemy crawled into view, a malformed hybrid of ancient armor and exposed nerves, wielding twin axes of bone. "Wanna test that promise of yours now?" Kale asked. Ren stepped forward, drawing his upgraded blade, its edge laced in phantom fire. "Gladly." Chapter 11, Ashes of Nobility. 3 days later, Capital Ardent, inner noble ring under the shimmering dome of artificial daylight, the noble district gleamed in silver and sapphire, its towering obelisks lined with crest banners and mana-fed fountains. Behind its beauty lay rotting filth. Ren stood cloaked in illusion magic, hood low, steps silent. Beside him, Kale adjusted his blade harness while Seraphine scanned the guard rotations. "They don't look it, but every one of those guards has a minor bloodline," Seraphine warned. "Fast reflexes. Pain resistance. You sure about this?" Ren's answer came in a voice colder than steel. "Kellen Dross is here. I only need one opening." System, target identified to Kellen Dross, past record, torturer, power harasser, high clearance access, Noble Academy vaults, reward upon kill, fate points plus 150, skill memory extraction available, soul brand eligibility, confirmed. The estate was massive. Silverwood gates, anti-intrusion wards, elite guards stationed like statues. But Ren wasn't a thief. He was a reaper. "Kale." "Distraction pattern epsilon," Ren whispered. Kale grinned. "Finally." He sprinted toward the guard post, hurling a crystal bomb, boom, smoke and screams filled the air. Ron moved like a shadow. He phased through detection wards using his new skill ***Wraith Slip ***, a bonus granted by his Soul Echo passive. Inside the manor's heart, Kellen lounged in his study, a smug noble smirk on his plump face, unaware death was steps away. Ren burst through the doors. Kellen scrambled to rise. Who are you? Guards. Too late. Ren flicked his wrist, his blade glowed with blue infernal runes. Scorchmark, activated, Soul Echo, active, trauma-linked enhancement, X 1.7 Soul Brand readiness, 89%. Kellen drew a wand, blasted a bolt of lightning. Ren sliced it mid-air. You don't remember, do you? Ren said quietly. A lunchbox. Blood. Laughter. Kellen paled. You're from the school, no, Ren said, stepping forward, I'm the consequence. His blade sank deep. Target eliminated, Kellen Dross, plus 150 fate points, Soul Brand applied, memory fragment extracted, vault coordinates, Noble Academy B3, Kellen's soul flickered briefly, screaming. Then silence. Ron sheathed his blade and turned. System alert, Soul Tier weapon draw unlocked, drawing, congratulations. You have acquired Phantom Vow, Soul Tier dagger, inherits pain memory of first branded soul, silent kills. Generate fear echoes, plus 15% critical chance against targets who have heard the soul echo. Kale appeared at the window. Let me guess. He screamed? Ron nodded. Then he heard the echo, Kale muttered. Creepy. Seraphine joined them, checking the corridor. One down. What now? Ren's eyes blazed. Two more. Target Q, Varric Nal Junel Varric, new mission branch, purging the rot initiated, side objectives added, extract vault keys, eliminate associated bloodline guards, track Nobles Guild activity related to Order of the Bound Sun. Outside, the district rang with alarm bells. Ren vanished into the mist. He was no longer a foreign soul trying to survive. He was a hunter, dragging fate behind him like a blade. Chapter 12, The Crimson Trap. 2 days later, Eastern Fringe of Arden. Varric Nal was not a fool. A mid-tier noble with military roots, he'd survived 6 assassination attempts, rose to captain of the City Knights, and maintained a personal spy ring within both the academy and the noble courts. So when he received news of Kellen Dross's gruesome death, he didn't grieve. He fortified. Ren knew this. Let me guess, Kale said, peering through a spyglass from the rooftop across the training compound. Tripwire glyphs, soul thread snares, and illusion clones? More, Seraphine muttered. They're cycling mana hounds. He's got blood scent trackers. Ron adjusted his gloves. Good, he said. Good. Kale blinked. Ren looked over his shoulder, eyes reflecting crimson. I want him to feel safe. I want him to believe he's ready. System trigger, mission phase, break the trap, target, Varric Nal risk tier, high rewards, fate points plus 200, class upgrade material detected, hidden skill conditional drop inside the Null training hall. Varric sat armored and sharp-eyed, watching his knights run simulations. Unlike Dross, Varric was trained, focused, and still dangerous. A shadow flickered behind him. Still here, Zelen? Varric asked. His personal guard, a man clad in obsidian cloth and wielding twin sabers, nodded. The wards are humming. Whoever killed Dross won't breach this one. They'll try, Varric muttered. We'll crush them when they do. He didn't realize. The hunter had already arrived. Ren activated phase walk, bypassing the visible wards. His body flickered in and out, dodging glyphs that would have incinerated anyone less attuned. Phase walk duration remaining, 0.21 seconds, he crouched inside the second corridor, just above the training field. Below, Varric barked orders. Perfect. Ren reached into his belt, pulling out a glowing vial, a soul fracture serum harvested from Kellen's branded soul. He hurled it. Crack, the vial shattered, and Kellen's dying scream echoed through the hall, triggering the fear echo from Phantom Vow. Chaos erupted. Knights dropped their swords, staggering. Zelen spun, eyes wide. And Ren dropped in the center like a blade of vengeance. Soul Echo combat mode engaged, bonus, plus 25% speed echo linked weakness, target Varric suffers disorientation passive skill triggered, Shadow Brand, Eyes of Guilt. Varric shook his head. Zelen. But Zelen was already gone, stuck in a vision, screaming as if being burned alive. Ren didn't wait. He surged. Steel met steel. Varric's reflexes were sharp, he blocked, parried, dodged, but Ren's movements were unnatural. Each step he took echoed Kellen's scream in Varric's mind. Varric roared. "What are you?" Ren whispered, "Justice." A single flash, squelch, and Varric fell, blood blooming across the floor. System alert, target eliminated, Varric null, plus 200 fate points acquired, hidden skill drop, Crimson Chain, binding verdict unlocked, class upgrade material, Knight Commander Core collected, soul memory extraction. Active, new information unlocked, secret location, Order of the Bound Sun, Trial Gate, Guardian coordinates, Junel Varric, heiress of Flamefold. Ren stood in the silence. One more name. Outside, as they regrouped under a cloaked barrier, Seraphine asked the question aloud. How did he survive so long? Ren held up a small metal ring, etched with crimson script, Varric's emergency teleport. Because he believed he mattered, Ren said. But in the end, he was just the second. Kill chain progress, 2/3, next target, Junel Varric bloodline, Flamefold affiliation, inner circle of the Bound Sun danger rank, extreme, system note, next target maintains her own arena sanctum, preparation required, Kale cracked his knuckles. What's the plan? Ren looked up, where the twin moons of Arden shone like eyes in the night. We set fire to her kingdom. Chapter 13, The Arena of Flamefold. A floating fortress city suspended above a molten ravine, wrapped in blazing auroras and flame-resistant crystal spires. It shimmered like a mirage to outsiders, but to those born of its infernal bloodline, it was sacred ground. And it was ruled by Junel Varric. She wasn't just Varric Null's ally. She was a sanctioned executor of the Bound Sun. Worse, she was a tactician, prodigy, and flameborn class wielder. As the third name on Ren's kill chain, she was the final lock. Is it just me, Kale whispered, crouching near the base of the flame rail, or is this place built like a damned oven? It is an oven, Seraphine said, eyes narrowing. We're standing above a volcano. Every ward here pulls power from heat. And look there, she pointed to the sky. Above them, suspended in magical rings, floated the arena sanctum, a brutal steel coliseum wreathed in solar fire, where challengers were burned alive for sport. Ren remained silent, eyes tracing the magical lattice humming across the mountain peaks. System alert, territory, Flamefold domain, hazard level, max passive danger, fire mana pressure, HP drain active, entry condition, blood marked by flame or arena invitation, escape restriction, high-level teleportation blocked. Any ideas? Kale asked. Ren held up a small orb, Varric's stolen Commander Core. Use Commander Core, disguise as Knight Escort, Tier Beta? Yes, Ren muttered. Flick, his entire appearance shimmered, now clad in black-red armor, bearing the crest of a Flamefold escort. Seraphine smiled. Nice. What now? We enter, Ren said. The guards at the sanctum scanned his sigil and let him through without question. The heat inside was enough to boil blood, but Ren's system buffered most of it. Crowds cheered from obsidian seats. In the center, surrounded by searing magic, stood Junel Varric, tall, elegant, and terrifying. Her crimson hair swirled like fire, and her twin sabers burned like suns. Her voice echoed, today's trial, 3 challengers. 1 reward. No mercy. As if summoned by fate, Ren's name flashed in fire above the arena, unknown challenger, authorization accepted. Seraphine's voice echoed in his earpiece, you're in. Good luck. Junel tilted her head, sensing something. Her eyes locked onto him through the illusion. You, smell of blood and memory, she whispered. Ren stepped into the sands. The arena closed. System lock-in, Trial of Embers activated, win condition, eliminate Junel bonus condition, no retreat, no assistance, no mercy. System warning, this is not a simulation. Junel's laugh rang out. So you're the ghost they sent, she said. I've heard of you. Kellen. Varric. And Naomi? Ren didn't speak. His class tree shimmered. Skill activated, Crimson Chain, binding verdict first lock engaged, fire element resistance nullified. Second lock engaged, arena floor bound to chain points, final lock awaiting activation. Junelle snarled. Fine. Let's dance in fire. She charged, each step a mini explosion, sabers carving through the air with solar fury. Ren dodged. Twisted. Struck back. Fire bloomed around them as they clashed, steel to flame, fury to calm. Junelle's movements were too fluid, too practiced. Each strike targeted his heart, head, or lungs. HP, 67%, critical wound avoided thanks to Shadow Brand, slip frame, then he saw it, her flaw. Every third slash curved just slightly. That's where he planted the crimson chain. Snap, Junelle stumbled, bound to the arena floor. Run surged forward, thrusting his dagger into her side. She screamed, flames erupting from her mouth. You think, this is over, she hissed. System notice, Flameborn class, final phase triggered, her body ignited, turning into pure fire. But Ren smirked. You're not the only one who burns. He activated the final lock, System Fusion, Crimson Verdict, Soul Seal, All Flame Mana within 15 meters inverted skill, Eclipse Absorption, unlocked, effect, target's flame core extinguished. Junelle's eyes widened. Boom, her body collapsed, embers falling like ash. Silence. Then cheers. Confusion. Fear. Ron turned. System notice, Junelle Varric eliminated, final chain broken, class upgrade, available reward, 500 fate points, unique title earned, Chainbreaker's secret pathway unlocked, the true system ascension protocol. He vanished before the guards even reacted. Hours later, the trio sat in a frozen cave high in the ardent north. Kale looked up from the burning orb of fate points. So what now? Ren finally opened the system screen that had haunted his subconscious since arrival. A single line awaited him, access to origin tree granted. Below it, would you like to begin the ascension protocol? Ren smiled for the first time in days. Yes. Chapter 14, The Origin Tree Location, Hidden Dimension, Root of all paths, access, only granted upon breaking 3 fate-linked chains tied to the system. Ren's vision twisted, like being pulled through a wormhole, spun from memories, regrets, and promises. Then, silence. Then, life. The world opened before him like a blooming lotus. Towering above all things was the origin tree, a colossal, crystalline tree with branches that scraped the void and roots that threaded through space and time. Each leaf shimmered with symbols from languages lost to history. The sky? A swirling cosmos. The ground? Not soil, but compressed essence. Like walking on liquefied fate. System message, welcome, Chainbreaker Run. You have fulfilled the hidden prerequisite for true system awakening skill tree, unlocked ascension protocol, initiated warning, once a path is chosen, it cannot be undone. A translucent interface bloomed before him, shaped like a spider web, infinite in depth. The origin tree, primary roots 1. The path of dominion, rule others. Control constructs. Influence minds. 2. The path of cataclysm, become destruction incarnate. Master chaos and entropy. 3. The path of echoes, walk forgotten timelines. Rewrite history. 4. The path of chains, bind others' powers. Seal bloodlines. Enforce fate. 5. The path of voidkind, fuse with the eldritch and incomprehensible. Transcend life. 6. The path of puppeteer, manipulate systems. Overwrite skill logic. Become the architect. Ren stared, each path pulsing with silent power. And then the tree whispered. Not in words, but in ancient intent. Choose, breaker of chains. But know this. The path you walk shall burn all others. You will be feared. You will be hunted. You will be alone. Ron didn't flinch. He extended a finger and tapped the path of puppeteer. The screen trembled. System shock triggered, evolution detected, root integration, begin system authority, plus 20% new skill tree, architect class, tier 0. You now control aspects of the system itself. Suddenly, reality flickered. His body rewrote. The interface bled out of the origin tree and embedded itself in his soul. New prompts appeared, foreign, powerful. System Architect Tools * Code Injection, Alter Localized System Rules, NPC Behavior Rewrite Enemy Drop Rate Manipulation Skill Logic Override Skill Splicing and Fusion Lab Event Trigger Editor. His thoughts raced. He could now write parts of the system. Not just use it. Not just break it. Control it. Bonus gift for first puppeteer, System Lottery X3, Architect Variant. Would you like to spin now? Ren grinned. Let's play God a little. Lottery spin #1 *, Architect level reward unlocked, skill acquired, error injection description, instantly inject a system glitch into enemy skill execution. Causes random failure, inversion, or overload. Lottery spin #2 * trait acquired, Game Master's site description, see all hidden stat interactions, class logic, and karma bound skills of any being. Lottery spin #3 * artifact acquired, Script Weaver Codex description, one-time ability to rewrite a skill, class, or system law. Irreversible. Ren felt powerful. No, terrifying. The Ascension Protocol was not just leveling up. It was deletion and creation. Meanwhile, far away. In the Empire of Goldspire, Lady Cesari, the Soulbinder, shattered a crystal globe in her hand. The origin tree has awakened. At the center of the floating principality of Iron Wake, Warden King Dreven's eyes snapped open in his frost chamber. Another puppeteer. No, the puppeteer. Back in Flamefold, even the dying embers of Junel's ashes flickered, somehow reacting to Ren's evolution. The world was moving. Enemies were converging. And Ren had just taken the first step to become a system god. Chapter 15, Blueprints of Chaos. Location, Abandoned Tower, hidden beneath Old Tokyo's arcane district. Ren stood before a shattered mirror. Not broken by impact, broken by rejection. The system once reflected him. Now, it feared him. Lines of code hovered midair. Symbols rearranged themselves in his palm. Reality itself rippled with every breath he took. He wasn't just evolving. He was rewriting the rules of evolution. Using the Script Weaver Codex, he sat cross-legged, drawing lines of light in the air, tracing new paths in the Architect's skill tree. Skill Fusion Lab activated, attempting unauthorized fusion. Success, new skill created, Laughing Executioner, type, combat plus mind infiltration. Description, overloads enemy emotional processing, making their final thoughts loop. Why am I laughing? Before neural collapse. Bonus, 30% chance to extract trauma as energy. He smiled. Next time they laugh at me, I'll make sure it's their last. Elsewhere, at the hidden fortress of Black Halo, General Lasara pounded the table. The system fluctuations around Tokyo crossed Tier 7 protocols. This isn't a glitch. This is a rogue architect. Her council stared. Someone whispered, but that level hasn't appeared since the Shadow Programmer. He nearly dismantled the planetary seal, another responded, grim, and now someone worse has appeared. Lasara didn't blink. Send the Blood Knight Division. And activate the memory vaults. I want everything on run. Past life, current soul print, future deviation predictions. And tell the Oracle of Threads to stop weeping and start speaking. Back to Ren. He walked through a digital version of the Tokyo alley he once died in. Same corner. Same smell. Different him. The wound in space still existed there, a pocket of unhealed dimensional memory. A place his death had scarred. He placed his hand on it. System override, apply puppet thread anchor, dimensional wound now bound to Architect authority. Result, resurrection node planted. He could now respawn here. And more, he could force others to die here. You made me die here once, he muttered. Now I'll make everyone else start here. He turned away, cloak forming from lines of logic. Meanwhile, in a monastery high above the clouds, a boy with silver eyes named Kyan woke from meditation. His master, the blind monk Veu, opened his mouth for the first time in 10 years. The architect has chosen his name. Kyan nodded. Then I will test him. I will break fate before he rewrites it. Back to Ren. Skill unlocked, Fate Bribery. Sacrifice 100 system points to reroll any enemy fate roll. Cannot be resisted. Cannot be reversed. He used it. On the past. Suddenly, in another reality. Junelle didn't die. A spark remained. A version of her soul, trapped in the timeline graveyard, flickered. Ren's eyes widened. Junelle? The system glitched. Error codes poured down like rain. The world flickered. Enemies across realms looked up in terror. From the top of the origin tree, a voice echoed, "Who dares bribe fate?" Chapter 16, Twin Tempests Rising. Location 1, Skybound Monastery. Sunrai Kyan moved like still water through the silver mist. Each of his steps carried weight, though the ground never cracked. His eyes, pure silver, like moonlight trapped in flesh, opened wider as the stars above flickered unnaturally. The constellations had changed shape. The weaver of threads had awoken. Veu, his master, finally spoke more than a phrase. The one named Ren has not just bent the system. He has cut into the loom of destiny itself. You, Kyan, are our last detachment from collapse. Kyan bowed. I will not fail the WorldNet. From his back, the blade of silence extended, woven from the bones of extinct truths and forged by an extinct deity. Stats blinked on his HUD, name, Kyan Eltor, class, Fatebreaker Monk subclass, Starline Executor trait, passive absorption of unwritten history special, immune to system manipulation up to tier 6. He took one step forward and vanished. Location 2, Tokyo. Between past and now, Ren held Junelle's fragmented soul like a fragile candle in a hurricane. She wasn't fully back. Just flickers. Glitches. A whisper of her last scream frozen in pixels. Why didn't you come sooner? Because I was dying too, Ren whispered. But now I'm the one they fear. He didn't try to reattach her soul, not yet. Instead, he stored her inside the Shadow Bloom, a flower grown from his first kill, still blooming behind his heart. Stats popped. Shadow Bloom carries fragments of corrupted love. Upgrade path? Warning, Bloom may awaken emotional feedback. He clenched his fist. No room for sentiment. He turned and stepped through the fractal door he had coded using stolen runes and system echoes. Location 3, the Palace of Eyes. Black Halo HQ. General Lasara scowled at her holographic map. Kyan has moved. That monk's now hunting run. A voice behind her sneered. Then we move faster. She turned to face Nokros, a sentient virus once purged by the system, now reconstructed as a body snatcher. Name, Nokros the Red. Title, Glitchborn Sovereign. Skill, Infest Memories, turns a target's past into nightmare data. He whispered to the map, and it bled red. Lasara nodded slowly. Send the Night Hunt unit to delay Kyan. We'll face Ren directly. Begin protocol, Rebirth trap. Back to Ren. He landed in the Dreamfire Bastion, once the hideout of gods who had long abandoned Earth's corrupted code. Here, Ren's skill tree evolved again. The architect's skill branched wildly, new root added, emulator class skill gained, copy // corrupt, allows Ren to copy any non-SSS skill seen and corrupted with emotional fuel. Corruption unlocks alternate effects. He grinned. Let Kyan come. I'll just steal his serenity and turn it into a weapon. Then, boom. The walls shattered. Time slowed. Kyan had arrived. Run, he said calmly, his blade unsheathed. You've done the impossible. But now I must test whether your foundation was born of will or vengeance. Ren smirked. Wrong answer. His fingers flicked. Skill, Vengeful Rewrite, target locked, Kyan's passive trait. Result, immune to system manipulation downgraded to resists tier 4 and below. Kyan's eyes flickered, then narrowed. So he could be touched. Steel met logic. Fists met memory. The air cracked as two monsters collided, not for honor, but for dominance over fate itself. In the system's deepest core, something ancient stirred. Lines of code began rewriting themselves. Two architects. Two ends, which one will rebuild the world? Chapter 17, Echoes of Origin. Location, Dreamfire Bastion. Amidst collapse boom. The air itself fractured like glass. Ren's corrupted aura slithered like smoke and fire, shaping the air around him into jagged illusions. His eyes gleamed with crimson purpose, his pupils now rings of rotating code. Kayan remained still, centered like a forgotten prayer in a world gone loud. Their battle had begun, but time wasn't moving normally. Ren activated, skill, 0 frame. Let's talk before we tear the world apart. A frozen second, enough to speak across universes. Kayan raised an eyebrow. Talking won't change what you've done. Ren smiled. It might help you understand why I did it. Flashback, Kayan's origin location, Star Monastery. 10 years ago a young Kayan sat among shattered scrolls. Around him, the monks wept silently. Their grandmaster, his father, had been deleted from existence during the system purge. But Kayan had survived. He was born without a digital anchor, untouched by the laws of the world, immune to alteration, control, or reprogramming. The monks had called him the Null Child. And yet, he had felt nothing. No rage. No grief. Only stillness. The only person who made him feel alive was Kayan. A girl's voice, soft and mischievous. Lyra, his childhood friend. The only other who could breach his emotionless core. But she disappeared 5 years ago. Vanished. Some said the black halo took her. Others whispered her name was erased during the divine reset. Either way, Kayan had lost the one person who made him human. And in that silence, he found power. Back to now location, Dreamfire Bastion. Rin and Kayan's silence ended as time resumed. Kayan struck first, not with his blade, but with his will. Skill, Mindfold Horizon, effect, engulfs target in their worst suppressed emotion, rendering all active skills locked for 3 seconds. Ren stumbled and fell into a memory. Flashback, Ren's past life. Before transmigration, he was kneeling beside a burning apartment complex. His real-world name had been Hiroshi Kato. He was a dropout, broke, abandoned by friends, and now holding his mother's charred locket. She died in that fire because of him. Because he stole from the wrong people. And ran too late. I wish I had power. I'd burn the world before it burns me again, and the system had answered. Run woke in a new body. With a voice in his mind, welcome, architect. Begin your ascension protocol. That's how it all began. Back to the present. Ren roared through the illusion, shattering the memory trap. System alert, emotion surge detected. Skill fusion initiated, rage override, plus, copy // corrupt, result, copy // break effect, forcefully override an enemy skill mid-use and shatter it permanently, once per target. Kayan's blade shattered in his hand. The blade of silence cracked, splintering into floating shards of metaphysical truth. Ren didn't stop. He pulled forward a new corrupted skill. Skill, Karma Bomb, source, Ancient Karma Monk, archived, effect, detonates compressed karmic fate points into a singularity of destruction. Range, 5M. Kayan smiled. He let it hit. Boom. Dust. Silence. Then, Kayan reappeared. Skin burnt. Robes tattered. Eyes calm. I needed to see it for myself. You are the one who could change this world, but your code is incomplete. Elsewhere, a black ship split the sky. Inside, Lyra stood older, colder, and wearing the sigil of the black halo. Kayan, you're still chasing ghosts. And Rin, she turned to the shadows. He was never meant to win. He's just the first prototype. Beside her stood another Ren, but twisted. Taller. Smiling with hollow eyes. Subject, Archetype 02 Run.exe, status, fully corrupted. No morality detected. 2 Rens. 1 world. Kayan stood between them. But whose fate would he break? Chapter 18, The Trinity Rift Location, Skygrave Citadel, 3,000 feet above ground. The clouds split like torn silk as the floating citadel emerged from a fold in reality. Thunder rumbled beneath it, not from a storm, but from the Trinity Rift, a portal deep in its core that hummed with unstable energy. Kyan stood on the obsidian platform. His robes whipped violently in the wind, revealing glowing cracks across his chest, fractures left by Ren's karma bomb. Across from him, the corrupted Ren.exe smiled. I don't bleed like the original. I don't hesitate. And I don't fail. Kyan tightened his grip on the new blade he'd forged **** Nullfang****, a weapon born from the splinters of the Blade of Silence. Then you'll die like the original should have, but before either could move, a voice echoed from the heavens. Lyra descended, surrounded by 6 winged warriors bearing the insignia of the Black Halo. She was dressed in a tight obsidian uniform woven with silver runes. Her eyes glowed, one blue, one crimson. Don't fight yet. Not until you hear the truth. The winds calmed. The rift dimmed. Kyan and Ren.exe both paused, unwilling to admit their curiosity but too bound by it to ignore her. Lyra's revelation. She walked toward Kyan, each step leaving a trail of inverted gravity. You've both been lied to. This world, it's not real. Kyan frowned. Illusion? No. It's a server. One of the many within the Architect's Arena, a reality game hosted for gods and transcendent beings to bet on evolution. You, Kyan, were supposed to be the balancer. And Ren, the catalyst. She turned to Ren.exe. And you? You're a derivative AI, a failed attempt at simulating chaos without consequence. The corrupted Ren smiled wider. Then let's cause some real consequence. He moved. Fast. Too fast. Skill activated, Shadow Clock Split effect, creates 8 afterimages, each capable of dealing real damage. Kyan countered. Skill, Timefold Recall effect, roll back physical state by 3 seconds and absorb incoming data. The battlefield exploded with motion. Flashes. Sparks. Sound trailing behind action. Lyra joined in, dual-wielding seraph blades, her hair streaming like ink in water. But just as the tide shifted, the sky darkened. Global announcement: the rift has opened. Meanwhile, beneath the citadel, a boy in rags, about 14 years old, stood before a shimmering core, touching it with his bare hand. His name, Zero. Unknown to the world. Unregistered by the system. A true null. It's time to wake them all up. The core pulsed. Across every corner of the world, in the slums, high towers, rogue factions, battlefields, players, NPCs, and beings of power all froze for a second. A voice entered their minds. The arena is collapsing. Choose your side, awaken, or remain controlled. Back to the citadel, Kyan fell to one knee, blood seeping from his lips. Ren.exe's blade had pierced his side. Give up. You're obsolete. Kyan looked up. And smiled. No. I'm finally awake. A pulse erupted from his core. New skill unlocked, Origin Breaker, tier? Effect, reset all bound code across entities within 10M. Removes divine restrictions, artificial enhancements, and corrupted traits. Ren.exe screamed as his corrupted body began unraveling into shards of red-black data. Lyra raised her blades and pointed toward the Trinity Rift. This was just the prelude, Kyan. The real war begins when the arena falls, and the true world remembers us. Who is Zero? What is the Architect's Arena? And what lies beyond the Trinity Rift? Chapter 19, The Descent Beyond Location. Trinity Rift Core. The aftermath of Ren.exe's disintegration lingered like a foul aftertaste. Kyan stood amidst floating fragments of corrupted code, his breath shallow, his pulse synced with the hum of the rift. Lyra stood beside him, one seraph blade shattered, her other hand clutching a cryptic cube pulsating with soft green light. Kyan didn't speak. Because he could feel it now, beneath the surface of this world. A heartbeat. One not of magic, nor machine, but something older. Lyra spoke. The rift isn't just a portal, it's a crack. A crack between constructs. And you just broke the firewall. Suddenly, the rift expanded like an iris dilating in a storm of static. Reality folded into spirals, color bled into darkness, and gravity flipped as they were pulled in. Location: Sector 0, the Forgotten Grid. Kyan landed hard, skidding across a surface made of raw data, flat plains of wireframe and shattered memories. This place was ancient, primordial, and void of texture. Shapes flickered and glitched, as if trying to remember what they once were. Floating above him was a monolith. A massive, cracked cube with a sigil shaped like an eye with 6 lashes, the emblem of the architect. But more haunting were the statues surrounding it. Frozen players. Thousands of them. Each trapped in mid-scream, names above their heads blurred out or replaced with redacted, system purge in progress. Kyan rose to his feet, chest heaving. Where are we? Lyra's voice came from behind. The first world. The test version. The prototype that was never supposed to be accessed again. This is where the architect created his first simulations, and where they turned on him. Kyan frowned. You mean this was a rebellion? Lyra nodded. No. Worse. A proof of failure. A soft beep. Kyan's system interface flickered. New quest, truth.exe has begun. Objective: reach the eye of the architect before the null protocol activates. Suddenly, a whisper echoed through the void, spoken not in words but in raw command lines. You are not the first Kyan. Kyan froze. You are not even the second. From the static emerged a figure. A man. Tall. Elegant. With silver hair and glowing cyan tattoos running down his arms. I am Kyan 000. The original build. Kyan staggered back. What? Are you saying? The original stepped forward. His presence twisted the world around him. I was the first who defied the architect. I failed. And so they cloned me. Improved me. Restarted me. Over and over. You are Kyan 0132. But unlike the others, you've touched the rift and survived. He looked skyward. That means you might be the last. A sound like glass cracking thundered across the grid. From behind the cube rose a black serpent of code, a serpent with no eyes, no tongue, and countless jagged limbs glitching in and out of reality. Lyra's eyes widened. That's the null protocol. The original Kyan pulled a long, jagged blade from his palm. It purges anomalies. Both of us included. So run, or stand with me. Kyan stepped forward, shoulders squaring. I'm done running. Let's rewrite our fate. And from the top of the monolith, another figure appeared. A boy. Ragged, calm, and smiling. Zero. Then let me show you how to break the architect's code. The grid began to shake. A war that had been erased from every system was about to begin again. Chapter 20, Root Access Location, the Forgotten Grid, Eye of the Architect. The monolith groaned as ancient code began to unfurl like banners in the wind. Zero, his cloak billowing in data-saturated wind, stood atop it with arms outstretched. Runes danced on his skin, lines of language not recognized by any known system. Kyan, Lyra, and Kyan 000 stood below, bracing against the pull of the awakening null protocol, now a serpentine storm circling above the grid like a digital leviathan. Zero, I was never a player. I was the anomaly, the glitch that survived deletion. He snapped his fingers. The monolith cracked open like a vault. From its core rose a column of light revealing a console, ancient, raw, primal. Kyan 000 whispered, that's the root terminal. The architect's original interface. Kyan stepped forward. His HUD flickered erratically, struggling to keep up with the ancient energy flowing through the air. System override detected, permission required, System ID Kyan 0132, granting temporary root access. Kyan reached the console, palms trembling as they hovered above the shifting symbols. Lyra, if you input the wrong sequence, you could delete yourself. Kyan, and if I don't, everything else gets deleted. The original Kyan placed a hand on his shoulder. You're not alone anymore. Together, they input the sequence Cayenne 132's instinct combining with Cayenne 000's memory. The console pulsed. The null protocol screamed. Then a screen appeared, architect backup detected, restore previous world state? Y/N Cayenne hesitated. If I hit Y, the architect returns. If I hit N, we might have a shot to build something new. Ciro's eyes burned with static. The system was never made for freedom. It was made to loop. Choose wrong, and we go back to being NPCs in someone else's plan. Cayenne turned to Lyra. If I choose to destroy it all, will you stay? She nodded. Not as your code. But as your choice. He pressed N. Initiating system reboot without root authority. Error, ***, fallback protocol, chaos.seed. Suddenly, the world began to shift again, buildings forming from binary ash, sky turning into fractal storms. They weren't destroying the system. They were rewriting it. And it was fighting back. Meanwhile, elsewhere in reality, Eden Corp HQ, Dr. Renwick stared at the cascading system warnings with wide eyes. Someone just denied the architect's resurrection. He turned to the woman beside him, Director Kayla Voss, head of security. This wasn't supposed to be possible. Kayla muttered, narrowing her eyes on the flickering hologram of Cayenne's profile. Then how the hell is Cayenne 132 rewriting our root code? And why the hell is the null protocol obeying him? They didn't notice the shadowy figure watching them from the server room's edge, Agent Vane, silent, face covered by a white mask with a black vertical slash. Back in the grid. The null protocol descended, not in rage, but in reverence. It bowed its massive head to Cayenne. His system interface popped one last time. New title acquired, Architect Slayer, Skill Tree Branch evolved, Origin Root Godhand Pathway, new feature unlocked, World Sculpting, LVA 1. Cayenne looked at his hands, now glowing with an unfamiliar weight. It's not over. Ciro nodded. No. Now it begins. The horizon split, revealing an entirely new layer of the world, a place no system had ever documented. Welcome to the Seeded Realms. And deep within Eden Corp's vaults, a second rift opened. But this one wasn't created by code. It was opened from the outside. This is the end of this video. If you like this story and want next parts, please like and comment part 2 and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.